Welcome back, Truth Seeker. I want to talk about this story of a young girl dying after a fight at school, March 27th, 2019. Before we get to that, just a reminder about what we talked about yesterday. On this same day, March 27th, 2019, the name of the victim was revealed who supposedly committed suicide that went to Stoneman Douglas. His name was Calvin Desir, summing to 181, the 42nd prime. Articles referred to him as a boy, which seemed interesting because the other girl who died was referred to as a teenager and not a girl. And boy has this derogatory connotation towards black males. But anyway, Calvin Desir, 181, the 42nd prime. The news came out on a date with 42 numerology. Again and again, we see news headlines having to do with black people on dates with 42, again and again. If you missed my work for the last 5 years, this might be brand new to you, but I've written a book about this. Please see the playlist I put together for this past Black History Month, where it was one 42 story after the next. So here we are, just outside of Black History Month on a 42 date, and we got bombarded with a number of 42 stories. The entire Jussie Smollett story from start to finish was all 42. The brothers who were allegedly paid to commit the hoax act of, violence against Jussie Smollett. They were back in the headlines yesterday, March 27, 2019, this date with 42 numerology. Notice how the headline calls them the Osundaro brothers, or bros, the bros, Osundaro bros, which equals 181, the 42nd prime. Again, brothers 42, February 42, so many things associated with black history, summed to 42. Jackie Robinson didn't wear the number 42 arbitrarily. The name Jackie equals 42. And again, this story on a date with 42 numerology. You also get this story about these men who were wrongly convicted of murder being freed from prison 42 years later. And strangely enough, somebody called in my radio show yesterday and said, hey, have you seen this new rapper? His name's 42 Doug. And if you apply the language of Gematria to so many of these rap names, you'll see 42s left and right. So anyway, on this same day, March 27, 2019, you get this story, the death of a young black girl. And again, date with 42 numerology, they said she was in grade 5. 5 has the Gematria of 42. They said she was age 10. 10 happens to have the Gematria of 42. They said she was the victim of bullying. Bullying has the Gematria of 42. And notice, this story comes out of Colton County, the Colton County School District, Colton County 59. And if you have not read my book, the 18th chapter is about how the numbers 42 and 59 always come together in black history in so many different ways. Just think of Black History Month. February equals 42. It ends on the 59th day of the year. Slave, Negro, Blues, they all sum to 59. Slavery, 42. And there's a whole lot more to both of those lists. But 42, 59, again and again. Again, watch my playlist on Black History Month. So many stories bringing 42 and 59 together from this past February. In light of this being a school fight, it's interesting that Raniya Wright sums to 72 in both reduction ciphers, like how school is 27 in both reduction ciphers. She died on the 27th. School also has the Gematria 72, just using the alphabetic order. The name Raniya, the name Wright, the name Fight, they all sum to 32. Her name was Raniya Wright. Wright and Fight, not only do they match in Gematria, they rhyme. And keep in mind that Scottish equals 32. We'll get to why that matters. Has to do with the day of the fight. Supposedly she got in a fight March 25th, Monday, went to the hospital that day, and died 2 days later while at the hospital, which seems really strange. The story is very vague. It doesn't say what kind of trauma she suffered. But anyhow, notice the Gematria of Colton County. Again, if you're new here, there's 4 base ciphers, the alphabetic order with numerology, the reverse alphabetic order, and the reverse alphabetic order with numerology. Colton has the Gematria 96 like Freemason. It's who uses this code of letters and numbers. That's who controls your media, your government, your school districts, your police, your hospitals. Freemasonry, large and in charge. This code of letters and numbers and dates, it's their thing. Freemason, 96. Masonry, 33 and 39. Colton County, CC 33. Pay attention to how often stories come out of CC counties. They're often suspicious too. But what else jumps out about this death is the name of the school, Forest Hills, which sums to 143. Whoops. Let me pull up the Gematria calculator right here. With regards to 143 for the name of the school, notice Scottish Rite of Freemasonry sums to 325. The fight that led to her death was March 25th, 325. And Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, also 143, just like Forest Hills. And remember how the 32s were coded all over the story? Again, Scottish 32. We live in a nation founded by Scottish Rite Freemasons. It's why their headquarters is in Washington, D.C., a city named after the Scottish Rite Freemason George Washington. So, anyhow, the Scottish Rite fingerprints are all over this. The fingerprints of Masonry are all over this. And, the question becomes why? I mean, why do they need to do this every day? Why do they need to contrive news this way? I would say, in large part, it's because this system's built around us, where we expect news stories every day. And, with those news stories comes commercials and ad space. And what's that old media mogul? His daughter was supposedly part of some, terrorist kidnapping decades ago. I cannot think what that man's name is. But he was known for saying, if there is no news, we'll create the news. So, no doubt they're creating and contriving news. This is the code they do it by. Sometimes I wonder, though, about a story like this. Was there really a fight? Was this girl really taken to a hospital? And, part of what I'm wondering about is the fight was on Monday, March 25th, 2019. The date was 67 numerology in Colton County, which has this gematria of 67. And what do we know about that number? That's the number connected to suspicious deaths again and again. We had the suspicious death of the rapper Tech 9 on this day. We had multiple deaths in the news that day, which I covered. So, anyhow, I'll leave it there for now. Just another example. News contrived by the same repetitive pattern. Until next time, True Seeker.